yourself, or you can never say how you really feel. Until now, yeah. When it's sundown, my mind is on the rundown. I be feeling like my happiness is on the come down. But when I speak to you, I feel like it's a touchdown. Finally found me someone I can really trust now. I always have so much to say, but no one to say it to. If I can talk to you today, I know I can make it through. So let's have this conversation like a radio station. So let's have this conversation like a radio station.
It's finally Friday, and it's time for the conversation with Maria Byrd.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd, and I'm super excited about today's show because we have with us a very special guest. As the founder and creator of Beauty 21 Professional Healthcare, she has been a beacon in the community as a multi-salon owner. Shea Marie Hair Salons for many, many years. She is a master cosmetologist whose passion for developing stylists fuel her desire to see individuals reach their full potential as entrepreneurs. She is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, and continues to extend her forward thinking by seeking ways to enhance the community and ultimately the world. Her nonprofit organization, the Beauty 21 Girl, helps young women through education, empowerment, and inspiration. Please help me welcome to the show my very special guest, minister, entrepreneur, and transformation coach, Shannon Smith.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Oh, yes. Welcome. I'm excited.
Yes. I'm excited to have you here. It's definitely an honor.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. It is really, I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Yes,
I really am. I'm just grateful that you saw, just God chose me.
Wow,
so
that's
I'm
right.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yes. And so, how have you been?
I have been well. I am feeling great today.
Yes.
It is a great day.
You look amazing.
I thank you. Hey, I have to keep it going. I represent beauty professionals. So
yes.
it's a must that we look what we say we are, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so
absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yes, and so before we get started, can you just tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I think I can say a lot about myself, but I will say this is that I was born, a single parent home.
Yes, ma'am.
My mother raised me, but my father was very active in my life. He was an entrepreneur himself. He owned several businesses. Construction companies. I just saw him. He owned properties. But I also saw them just work hard, really, really hard. So entrepreneurship has always been in my DNA.
Wow.
Without me kind of realizing that.
Yes.
Because I did go to college. Of course, I went to Georgia Southern as well as Southern Polytech. But unfortunately, I was like, you know what? I don't think 4-year college is for me. So I eventually went to cosmetology school and became a licensed professional. So I have been a boss for over 23 years, and I've been pretty much producing checks, writing checks, signing checks. So, that's who I am.
Wow.
And I started realizing that it was always a part of me because my parents, I've always seen them, work really hard. My mom worked a 9-to-5, but like I said, when she retired, her dream was always to have a hair salon.
Yes.
So believe it or not, she opened up a hair salon.
Come on, Mama.
Yes. So it was always in me. So it's my DNA.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Come on. I'm so excited about today's show. And not only that, but you have an upcoming event.
Yes.
Just tell us about your event.
Well, I am super excited about Money Matters because being an entrepreneur for over 23 years, what I found is that we made money fast, really fast, and some of us make it faster than what we've ever seen before.
Wow.
So say, for instance, if you've never experienced making $500 a day or $1,000 a day, you tend to spend money. And so by the end of the week, you never know exactly what you have, what you've earned,
Wow.
And we're not keeping, books like we should.
Right.
And so I felt like I needed a class for entrepreneurs, business owners, beauty professionals to really say your money really does matter. I didn't say make money your God, but I just said money does matter. And that how you, keep up with your books, how you discipline yourself with it. So when you get it, you understand that it's a process.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to store up, save, and then also have it for maintenance, things that you need. So this class right here is going to really just help them understand how to manage their monies, the importance of having finance, the importance of also filing your taxes, knowing the difference between LLC, INC, and just how to flow, how to be successful, but really understand how to manage your money.
Wow.
And so I'm excited for, all the entrepreneurs that are coming out, all the beauty professionals, like I said, bosses, because trust me, even though people tell you a lot of times that it don't take much to start a business, but it takes something to maintain it. So you might not need a whole lot of money to start it, but you need money to maintain it and to upgrade it, expand it, however. So we want to be able to teach you that structure, give you that discipline, the hardware to really just be successful. Yes, as a business owner.
So let me ask you this. Where can people go to find out about the event?
So they can go on to Eventbrite at BMI, which is Boss Me Inc., moneymatters.com, and actually purchase a ticket. People are also paying at the door of the event as well. They can go to Shannon Boss Me Instagram as well as Shannon Boss Me Facebook, but you will also, the event is posted. So like I said, you can go to Eventbrite to purchase tickets as well as pay at the door.
Yes. Wow. And that's going to be October the 30th.
Yes, at 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
480 John Wesley Dobbs, Suite 130, Atlanta, Georgia, 30312. I hope to see you there.
Yes. Wow. Yes. And so, this is so exciting. Yes. Definitely something that we need in our community. And I really believe the world at large. Just something to let people know that our money really does matter.
Yes, it does.
Yes, ma'am. And so, again, I'm super excited that you are here today to share with us.
Thank
you. And, I'm just so intrigued. I want to know, how did you get to this place? When we talk about your journey, your life story, come on, tell us, who is the person of Shannon Smith?
Oh my God. It's a lot of components. How did I get here? Well, like I said, being a spoiled girl,
let's talk about
where, like I said, I had parents. Once again, they loved me, true story. But you know how they will kind of spoil you to kind of cover up. So I was spoiled. Like I said, I had a father that made sure we had everything. So I was used to everything.
Wow.
And so think about it like this. Growing up it was not until I became actually like a senior in high school that I realized that, first of all, my father and my mother wasn't married, that I actually was in a single parent home, because he was always very, very active. But I just saw them grind all the time. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, Shannon Smith just started, how can I build my life of what I'm used to or accustomed to growing up without all of the cover up, should I say. So for me, when I started, I was like, well, it was all about quick. Because I was used to, like I said, growing up, being given everything so young. I had cars at 15, 16. Like, even though my parents were trying to teach me, how to manage money, but they were giving it to me too at the same time.
Right.
So,
well, that's a good. See, now you just touched on a good point because oftentimes we do want our children, when it comes to knowing how to handle money, knowing how to make money, knowing how to work hard. But if you give your children everything, how can you expect them to work hard, to make money, to respect money?
Yes, and then reality sets in where you do have to work hard for yourself to get what you are accustomed to having. So that's when, I was like, okay, this college thing, yes, granted, I wanted to go because I I would have really been the first one in my family to graduate from college, because my brothers, they went to trade school as well. But what I realized, it wasn't for me. And then in my mind, I just wanted something quick, because I think about it. Even though I saw my parents work hard, but it seemed like they was accumulating things very quick. Like, so I didn't see like their whole process, because they were very protective of us. So they didn't really show us the back end. We just saw the front end. Let me just say it like that. So you know how like when people look at you, they see the front end, but they don't know the back end. So, my life started out that way. So I was very intrigued by things, materialistic things, because I always had them. So I worked really hard for that. But yet I saw my parents, my mother have everything, but yet she was lonely. Okay? So me on the grind as a hairstylist, graduated from cosmetology school, started out making $100,000. I started from hair school making good money that I wasn't, let me just say this, your parents give you money, true story, but I seen money that I hadn't seen before.
Come on.
So I didn't know how to manage all of that. Honey, I was eating good. I mean, seriously.
Right.
But God has a way, even when you're not spiritual enough. He just put people around me, like older cosmetologists, that would just say, don't eat your money, baby, on your break. Do you even know what you made? And so he put me in places with people that had more wisdom.
That's good.
See, because I was all about the glam, because everybody knows in the beauty industry, it's all about who you know, what you look like. If you look like money, you had money. And half of them didn't have the money. So you have to, those are my process, and so I just found myself going with the flow, making good money, but just spending it all, living my best life.
Come on.
at 21 and 22. And then, I met my husband, and he was like, oh, okay, now living your best life,
But you know what? But let me stop you right there, Shannon, because you said something I thought was critical and so key, that, oftentimes we will know the front end of a person's story, but we won't know the back end. In other words, my glory, but you don't know my story.
Come on.
Yes. And so, let me ask you, I wanted to ask you about your back end. Can I ask you about your story, woman of God, because of the fact that a lot of people may not know this, but you came from the streets.
Yes, I did.
Ooh, can we talk about that?
Yes, because I never saw anything wrong with the streets. Because really, I had a dad who, once again, when you have parents that were born out of the ghetto, so all they had was the streets, and all they knew were trying to get out of the streets. They were just really working to get out of the streets. And so the streets loved me.
Come on. Let's talk about this. Come on.
You kind of see what I'm saying? So, I was going to church, true story. I mean, my parents, we grew up, I didn't grow up in church, but we knew to go. Let me just say that. Yes. You know how it is, morally, you know to go.
You know to go.
So we went, but it was just like more of the world loved me. And so you have to remember, I saw my mom have everything, raised us to have things. It was all material, but yet she was lonely. And then I became lonely. Because the friendships, I never could get people to really love me genuinely for me. They loved me for the things I had.
Talk about it.
You kind of see what I'm saying? So I was that kid that, and then everybody hid everything from me. So I couldn't understand. I had brothers that loved me. My mom, like I said, raised us to definitely, cover each other and be there for one another. Like, hey, y'all are brothers, family. Family was always important. But like I said, once I became a young adult, I had to figure this life out for myself. And so I didn't have mother and daddy saying, I'm going to pay your bills, because I wanted to be grown. And the streets, like I said, they were talking, and I was that girl. I was that it girl.
Come on, talk about
so
this.
I didn't even realize that, how you really think you have self-esteem, but really it was that you had it because of the clothes you wore and the identity.
Ooh,
but yet
good.
you were longing for the loyalty.
Come on.
Because I never seen people be loyal to my parents. They were good people. They helped people. But I never seen the loyalty.
Wow.
So for me, having everything in the streets, being loved in the streets, but yet I didn't get the loyalty in the streets.
Wow.
Yeah, they liked me. True story, but at the same time, I did a lot of things. I tried the club. I did. I tried to smoke. I did. I tried to drink. I did. But I choked, smoking.
Come on, help the people.
I put it this way. Everything I tried to do, and once again, I wasn't spiritual. So everything I tried to do, it was just, I could never do it. It was so hard for me. So I was the designated driver. But I tried it now. I tried the club. Because, I like to dance. I try, everybody around me was always under something. So I was like, well, why? I can't be the life of the party. So it was hard for me to fit in.
Come on.
It was hard for me to fit in. So, even in being myself, it was hard for me to be myself because, I don't know. So when I tried to fit in, they never accepted me trying to fit in.
Wow.
And then me being myself, I guess, like you said, I was always misunderstood. Let me just say that.
Yes.
Being myself. And so I just began to just shut down and say, Lord, is there anybody out there real? So even though the streets can love you, but you don't ever find real people. And so, for me, that's how it's always been. People dress things up. So I knew how to dress up. I could dress up. I was cute. I was good at that. I was. But at the same time, I never got the authenticity, the love, the loyalty, that I so desired. And I realized that having the material things, yes, growing up, people thought I was the rich girl. They never thought I needed anything. So think about it. Those who grow up, your parents take good care of you. People don't ever think you need anything. And it used to hurt my feelings because sometimes I did. Sometimes I needed a hug. Sometimes I needed just friendship, not from, can I wear your belt, sis? Can you do my hair, sis?
Wow.
So my backstory has been a process, but I've learned over the years to put respect on my process. I've learned over the years to not be ashamed even of my parents, of what I've come out of. Like I said, a senior in high school, think about it. You in your house and someone comes in and violate you in your own house. I was held up by gunpoint. And I didn't know what. I thought at that moment that my life was going to be taken from me. And all I had in me at that time was the Lord's Prayer. I was just a girl, like I said, that grew up. The streets loved my parents. They loved me. They knew us. So you look for the streets to protect you, right?
Right.
But then I was violated. And those were moments in my life I was duct taped. I didn't understand it. But it was because of the life that people saw on the outside. So they thought I had stuff. And they came in looking for money. They came in looking for things. But I tell you, God found a way. I was just like, Lord, if you get me out of this duct tape. I slid. I don't even know how I got outside. But it was from that moment that I said, God, I don't know what you have for me, but you got something.
But let me ask you this, because you said now you was in your home.
I was in my home.
Come on, tell us about that. Paint the picture.
I was asleep. So I was in my home, unaware of someone even breaking in. We had burglar bars, everything, okay? So I don't even know how they got through the burglar bars. But it was all because we were in a neighborhood and they thought we had... See, people have such a, we had the pool in the backyard. Like, I had the pool parties. I had all types of people, but they all played a part of being my friend. So think about it. I never thought that I would have gotten violated in my own home because, for one, I thought the streets were my friend, correct? I thought that I had protection because they loved me. But it was the very people in the streets that came and robbed me. And I honestly and truly don't know how. Wow. I don't even know. They duct tape. I mean, I was taped up. I didn't even know how I got out the house. The police, they didn't know. I mean, and come to find out, it was people in my neighborhood that did it to me. So see, that's what I'm saying. You know, we look for the loyalty in the streets because they love us, they hype us up, but yet it was the very people that violated me, that came in on me, that thought, you're a little rich girl, you got it. And that's all they was looking for, money. I didn't have that. But something then clicked and said, I don't, and then at the time, I didn't even know what I had. Like, when people see the God in you, if you in your flesh, you don't see the God in you. You just like,
right.
I mean, I had people say, you're going to do great things. Well, right now I'm trying to be grown. I'm trying to party. I'm trying to live this life. Right. And I love the fact that all the people in high school thought I was this great kid. You know, like I was not even realizing that my home was messed up. Like, I didn't even realize I didn't have two parents in my home. Because my mom always made me feel like my dad worked that night. Because he wasn't there. He had a whole nother life. I didn't find out these things until I was a senior in high school. So I've been violated. Come on. Out of my sleep, unaware. Been violated. But I took those violations and I said, you know, God, you have a plan. Ooh. And I don't know. It was a moment that I knew God was real. Like, I heard about God. Come on. I was going to church like I knew God. No, I knew God was real because the police didn't even know how I got out the duct tape. Because I didn't. So
come on, yes.
I'm just keeping it real. My legs were duct tape. My arms were duct tape. My mouth was duct tape. Hear me out. And I had a gun to my head, telling me, you know where the money is in this house. I don't know. At that point, you're like thinking, what is my parents doing? Now all I see my mom do go to work every day. My dad, you don't have a clue. I was violated. Nobody was there but me. But thank God I'm alive.
Ooh, yes.
And thank God I'm here to, you know, understand that, yes, do we do things in life trying to grow up and be a part of the world system? Everybody has. Because even when you go to church, and then church people who you say they love God, but then they don't like you. And you ain't never done that. You know, so for me, no, seriously, as a teenager, I went to church, seriously. But all the church girls, you know, you think you cute, or you know, and I'm thinking like, no, honey, I don't even know. Right. I don't even know me like that. I'm doing what my parents, or what they're dressing me up. I'm dressing myself, you know, like, so the world accepted me in a way, and they made me feel like my flaws, whether, you know, it was easy. Right. But yet I was violated by the world. So, you know, I had to do something different. I'm sorry.
Yes. And, you know, I mean, because, like, it's so many wisdom nuggets that I'm getting out of your testimony. But one of them is, you can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You know, because, yes. I mean, and oftentimes, as, you know, people that has a call of God upon our lives, anytime we try to infiltrate into the world system, we never going to fit in. Because God called us to stand out.
Yes, yes. And I even think about my opening up starting hair school and just working around women and loving what I do. But yet I couldn't understand why me, a little old person in a salon of 17 stylists, but I used to always get all the issues, and I'm like, I'm just doing hair. I'm just doing something that I found that I love to do. I just figured out that 4 years of school, college, I went all the way to my junior year of college and decided to stop. I didn't even tell my father I stopped. And he was paying for it. I mean, that ain't for nobody. But I mean, I stopped and I started doing hair. And so coming into a salon where you have to remember, you already had people that were on their grind, making good money. And I'm coming in fresh out of school, don't know nothing. But yet I started making a lot of money. And then I started experiencing the jealousy. But I'm just starting. I'm like, man, y'all been doing this for 5-10 years. I just knew I love to do it.
Yes.
Like, I love to see people look good. You know what I'm saying? And feel good. But yet I went through so much adversity in all just the salons that I worked at.
Yes.
I couldn't understand it. I mean, because I remember I was loved. I thought I was loved by people. So when I found somebody that really didn't really like me, I was like, well, how could they not?
Right.
But that's when you shouldn't think more highly of yourself. When you up to, like, God had always found a way to just make me kind of, humble myself in ways that I didn't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Because it was not until I started just being more and more disappointed with people and just my decision making, because once again I had parents that gave me everything, but they worked all the time.
Right.
So I had to kind of teach myself. And then every now and then when I did something wrong, of course they would say, well, hey, Shannon, you don't do it this way. But at the same time, we gonna do it anyway.
Right.
So I did. And so I just said, well, you know what, God, look, like every salon I go to, it's always something. And then I started looking at myself. Well, like, what am I doing? Because we realize sometimes when people start looking at us a certain way, then we start saying, well, maybe it's something about us. But I'm just on my grind. Because remember, I'm trying to make a living for myself. I'm trying to live a certain status, a certain life that I was used to living. Mm-hmm. But I was on my parents' money, on their dime. Now I'm on my own dime, trying to create this life.
Yes.
So God began to work on my heart. I did a lot of, like I said, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I saw my mom just with men, I made good money, fast money. So I was looking for a man who made fast money. So that's sometimes not always good either. So I kind of went through all those stages. So even when I met my husband, I was like, ugh, I don't know. Because I didn't think he was fast for, like, he was street. Yeah, I like that. The rough side, street. But then I still felt like he didn't quite understand. I didn't trust. Because remember, I hadn't seen the loyalty of a male.
Right.
Because I seen my mom being hurt over. It was just a lot.
Yeah.
Growing up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like I said, and I saw it even in the hair industry. So it's not always male, female. For me, it started being with the just working in the hair industry, not finding loyal people. People will cut your throat, take your client. I started dealing with all of those emotions, not realizing that, why am I attracting these people anyway? So it was things in me that God had to kind of help me recognize, like, because I understood at this point, now I need God. I need some spirituality. Now, you've gotten all the stuff.
Right.
So at this point, you know how it's like, now you need to try Jesus. You need to try
right.
Like, girl, you done did everything. So at that point, God began to turn my life around. And he began to show me, even in the beauty industry, a ministry within that. And see, I didn't even know I didn't know the importance of doing somebody's hair or like being over their head.
Yes.
I'm just trying to curl your hair, get this money, and go have this snack. Go ball out, lunch break, hang with some friends. But it took a man one day, he came into the salon and he said to me, you don't even have a clue of what you're doing. And I said, what you talking about, old man? I said, I do have a clue of what I'm doing. I've been doing hair for, at that time, it was probably 10 years.
Wow. It
took 10 years for me to recognize the importance of why I was doing it. Because remember, I was just making money, And he said to me, he was like, do you realize the importance of why you are over someone's head? Sir, they need their hair done. He said, no. It's important that you don't lose your mind. It's important that you don't go crazy because everything starts at the head. So if you're over their head, everything that you put into them, say if you messed up, now you fixing somebody's hair and now you pretty much taking everything, the weight that's on you and placing it on that individual. I knew then, I said, okay, God, that was it for me. So I understood at that point, hair is ministry. That my being a licensed cosmetologist is ministry for me.
Wow, that is incredible. Hair is ministry. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, you guys, listen, we're getting ready to take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. I want you to keep it locked right here. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
So let's have this conversation
On WIGO 1570 AM radio.
You can connect with Maria Byrd here Fridays on The Conversation at 11 a.m. Go to www.mariabyrd.org. You can sign up for her newsletter. Check out the latest from The Conversation. You can be the next guest, have your song featured, or donate to the cause. Learn about marketing opportunities. Check out the giveaways, special promotions, free tickets, and the latest from Maria Byrd Publications. Again, log on to www.mariabyrd.org. That's www.mariabyrd.org.
WIGO 1570 AM radio.
All right, I need you to open up your mouth. Come on, give God some praise. We lift your name up higher and higher. We shout your name out louder and louder. We lift your name up higher and higher. We declare you are God. We lift your name.
We lift your name up higher and higher.
Come on, somebody do it.
We shout your name up louder and louder.
We lift your name.
We lift your name up higher and higher.
We declare
you are God.
Here we go. Lord, we lift you up. We shout your name louder and higher in this place. Lord, we need you. Draw us to you. We lift your name up. I need you to put your hands in the air. Come on, baby. Draw us closer. That's where we want to be. Draw us close. We want to be where you are. Draw us closer to you. Come on, tell them closer to you. I need you to put your hands on this one. We lift your name up higher and higher. Yeah, we shout your name out louder and louder. We lift your name up higher and higher. We declare you are God. We lift your name up.
Higher and higher. We shout your name up louder and louder.
I need to see somebody dancing right now. Come on.
Higher and higher.
We declare
you are God.
Oh, Lord, you said, this is his word, y'all. If we lift him up, Father, he said he'll draw all men unto him. So Draw us closer, we want more.
You said if we lift you up from the earth, draw men to you. So we lift your name up.
Here we go.
Draw us closer.
Hands in the air, yeah, we lift your name up. Your name up, we shout your name out. We lift your name up, we shout your name out. We lift your name up, we shout your name out. We lift your name up, we shout your name out. We lift your name, we shout your name. 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 You said in your word, if we lift your name, you will draw us, Lord, closer to yourself. So we lift you, God. We do it for real. We do it for real. You're the only God. You're the living God. God, we lift your name. We lift your name. We lift your name. We give it to you, God. You deserve it, Lord. So we give it to you.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd
So let's have this conversation.
on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd. You just heard the hit song Draw Us by recording artist Enrique Holmes from the Try Again Live CD. And guess what, you guys? It's available for purchase right now on iTunes and all digital media outlets. Not only that, you guys, but I am on social media. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at Maria Byrd. I'm on Instagram at maria.byrd. You can also follow me on the Conversation with Maria Byrd Facebook page, or you can check out my website at www.mariabyrd.org. Not only that, you guys, but I'm also on YouTube. It's called The Conversation with Maria Byrd Facebook, YouTube page. So make sure that you subscribe to that page. Also, you guys, last but certainly never least, be sure if you want to make a donation to this show, you can go to $ Cash App Maria Byrd, where, you guys, we are back with my very special guest, none other than Shannon Smith. Welcome back to the show. Yes. And so before the break, I absolutely love it. You was just sharing with us your testimony, all of the great ways that God has shown himself to be faithful in your life. Not only that, you said an awesome quote that I love. Hair is ministry.
Yes,
hair is ministry. And so I wanted you to dive into and talk about, you mentioned during the break, the rejected pieces.
Yes.
Can you just talk about that?
Well, I can talk about it because I've been in that place before. Remember, I told you that I was once accepted by the world, but yet, they weren't loyal. And then at the same time, well, they liked me, but that was it. They just liked me. And so dealing with rejection, it really started when I opened up my hair salon. Because, once again, I was kind of like, well, I wouldn't even say started when I opened up the hair salon, but it was like when I started working inside a hair salon with different types of people. Say, for instance, people who have already been rejected. And I didn't know, because when people sometimes are rejected, they'll make you feel like you're rejected too. Okay. And I always loved myself. Let me just say that. But I didn't understand the value of what I carried. Does that make sense? Yes. Or just what I was doing. So, so for me, it was just like, I could go into a room and say I could could think I'm the best hairstylist in out of 17 people, and it was still not good enough. I've presented things, business deals. I got no's after no's after no's. Even with, I would say, even in church, I experienced the lack of, how can I say it? I don't want to say love, but they just didn't accept me. It was a lot of just not accepting. And so once I started recognizing, like, God, what is it? What is it about me? What is it about me? He said, you don't understand my love. Because when you understand my love and the value that I've placed on the inside of you, then you wouldn't even care what people say, how they say it, if they don't agree, if they, or they disagree, however, because you know me.
That's right.
So when hair became ministry for me, that's when I started realizing it was more to it than just being about me, consumed, like the money, the friends. But it was really about me understanding the very clients that would sit in my chair, the very stylists that the Lord will put in my place of business. And then I started getting stylists that was like full of rejection. They were very skilled at what they did. Now, I've always had great stylists that can do hair, but yet they were rejected, whether by their parents, by their parent situation, by men. And I dealt with all of that. I dealt with, in the beginning, just couldn't find the right man until I met my husband. I went through the friendships, remember I told you about, with people wanting to be my friend because of what I had, not just of who I was. And so I started getting these same type of stylists that had bad relationships. Parents weren't there, not single parent homes. And so they've always made bad decisions. And they was just full of like they wanted to be validated. They wanted me to say, you do a great job. They needed the mother.
Wow.
And I wasn't even trying to be nobody's mother. Wow. I'm just trying to push you to that next level. But yet they were reaching out to me like, no, we needed a mother. They needed somebody to nurture them. They had the skill once again. They didn't need me to teach them hair.
Right.
They needed me to teach them how to be themselves, how to push past their pain, how to push past the rejection of men, how to push past thinking you pretty, but yet no one knows you, no one pays attention. But they had this skill that made other people look good, but yet they didn't feel good. So I had to take these type of people, because I've once experienced all of that.
That's right.
I knew how to dress it up. Remember, the hair industry is full of that. So I began to have these people not knowing that it was rejection. I just thought, Lord, why are you sending me these type of people? But once again, when I started looking at hair being a ministry for me, I started saying, God, teach me how to be a master communicator. Teach me how to relate to these people. You took me through all of these things growing up in my childhood. See, I wasn't celibate. I was. Hey, no, hear me out. My life, I just thank God he took me through the streets. So when he brought people in my place of business to work for me, they were good people though. See, that's the part that we lose sight of. We'll look at their outer appearance. We'll look at, they so rough. They're so rough around the edges, but their heart ain't rough around the edges. It's just what they've been exposed to. And so I started looking at, no, these are good people, God. You just want me to show them a different way and be relatable. So believe it or not, I would talk to them and they would be like, oh my God, Shannon, you went through that. Miss Shannon, no, you. And I'm like, well, God will clean you up real good. He'll make you look good. Your past will be your past. But I started ministering to these girls and just started seeing them blossom. I've had stylists to work for me that are now business owners themselves. So to be able to mentor people out of a rejected place, for them to produce something greater than themselves. And I'm like, God, you using me when I didn't even know I wasn't spirit. Think about it. I didn't know what I know now. But I did have a love for people all the time. That's something that he's always put in me, to have a love for people, not just women, but just people. And I never judge people, even though people used to judge me and say, well, you have everything, you don't need anything. I just never judged them. And so it was easy for me to where somebody else would turn up their nose and say, why did you hire her? I've had several people tell me all the time, why did you hire this particular? She don't look like nothing. But I'm telling you, the more that I walked, the more I sincerely walked with God and just said, God, do it for me. You showed me hair was ministry. It's more than just making people look good, but it's about making people feel good on the inside, even in their darkest places. So that's when I understood, Shannon, you to help people out of these hard places. You've been in hard places. Regardless of you having everything, or you think you're having everything when you grew up, you still been through some hard places, some tough places. So you can't pass judgment. Like, I knew those people who had sex and had abortions. Okay. Hello, lights. Been there. Was ashamed. Yes, ma'am. But don't let it ruin you.
That's it.
And what we do, we tend to let our past try to ruin us. And, oh, we don't want the spotlight. I mean, seriously, I went through all of that. So I just thank God that when I discovered, because you got to discover that it's more to you than your flesh. Okay? Because, I mean, now I was a fleshly person all day, honey. I mean, I'm serious. I was. But when I started discovering it was more to me than all this flesh stuff, God began to give me wisdom like no other, how to minister to these girls. And now I have seen stylists come in my shop, come in the salon that was once like me. They left God because of people in the church, because they didn't accept them, with the shorts. However, so I've had atheists come. Hello. I've had people who left God. I've had people who just was confused all the way. I mean, all together. And God used me out of all people. Now, mind you, I don't even know. I'm learning. I'm learning how to pray. I'm learning how to, seek God. I'm learning. And I'm like, God, but you still want to use me to talk to these people? So he began to give me downloads and wisdom, how to encourage them and how to say, everybody ain't like that. It's some people out here live their truth, know their truth, but they love God. And I began to walk with those girls, even when people thought I was crazy. But guess what? To this day, those girls are still there. They love God. They confessing the name of Jesus. And I didn't throw Jesus up in their face. I just began to live a life before them, because they're like, how are you doing all of this? God's grace. Because in the beginning, I thought I was doing it because it was I. The money, I was grinding. It was God that was keeping me. And I only desired one salon. But when I discovered it was ministry, he started expanding it, like blowing my mind. And yes, did I have people that try to sabotage me, try to come against me, plot against? Granted, you will get that along the way. That's called your process and development, understanding, but you got to be diligent. And I just stayed diligent, but I understood the ministry. I started understanding that it was more than me, and it was more than the money. It was more than the booth rent. It was about these girls' lives being changed and them seeing more of themselves, more what God has. And now I'm telling you, to see those women like go from cursing somebody out, like straight up, to like honor Shannon. God, I mean, like they're confessing the word. Their confessions now are different. So you can't tell me you can't take someone out of a rejected place. It's only when you stay there. Like, no, you have to be around certain people. You have to I don't know. God just began to give me wisdom and downloads once I honored him, though. It's like, seek ye first the king. Once I started making you the head of my life. And you don't have to throw Jesus up in people's, you don't have to do it. And I didn't do it. But those girls, they saw my walk every day, and they just saw how I tried to honor God with my life. Let my life be worthy of the calling. Let my life be worthy of what he's doing, for me. And so I'm seeing stylists' lives being changed day by day. And so a lot of, like, even to be on your show, I'm like, God, I don't know. I just love to see women win. I've been an entrepreneur. It's been faith for me for over 23 years. I don't know nothing but faith. I don't have a check. So my life, that's how it's been. So even with dealing with the rejected piece, you have to show people the value out of their hurt. You have to show people you don't have to be validated by man. As long as God validates you, and I had to learn it before I could actually speak it to them. God validated me when a lot of people felt like my speech, they felt like I didn't dress the part, I didn't look the part, when I was just being me. They never looked at my heart. They never looked at I can work with her. I was never that person that they could work with. It was either yes or no. And I got more no's than I got yeses. So God began to work through those disappointments. And he began to build the inner strength and just in him. And I just began to trust God. I'm telling you, So for women out there, those who are just have been in a rejected place, waiting for someone to validate them, let God validate you. Understand that it's only for a moment, but you will produce, because God have always said that we should be fruitful and multiply. Everything about God works. Apostle have said that so many times. Everything about God works, but it's just you got to recognize it and you have to accept it. And I think, he's shown me how to really minister to those people. Like, it's so many broken homes, or people who've had a mother and a father, but yet they didn't do anything. I mean, my husband, think about it. We came from two different backgrounds. He had both parents in his house, but yet his dad wasn't even there for him. I thought I had two parents in a house. I only had one parent, even though my father was very much a part of my life. I never once said that he wasn't. And he provided, he was a provider, but yet single parent. So all I knew how to do was do something different. My biggest goal has always been to have a better life than my parents and to have Christ the center of it all. Because I had been through so much.
Yes.
So to see these women come in my place of business, and like I said, getting that revelation that hair was ministry for me. So it's more to it than, that's why I can do it. Well, I was doing it for free before I even realized hair was a ministry, because I just love to do it. But now I understand the purpose. So now you got to put purpose on this idea. That's why all these entrepreneurs out here, these bosses, God still is in that idea. And it's still based around him. It's still duplicating yourself on this earth for God to be glorified. But, a boss, we say we bosses, entrepreneurs, whatever, it's still for the glory of God.
Yes.
And I had to learn it. Did I go through things in learning that? Yes, I did. So that's why I thank God that he made my life relatable, and I stayed relatable to my staff, and he began to expand my territory. And so I'm so grateful for that.
Wow. Let me ask you this. Who are some of the influential people in your life that you just wanted to acknowledge?
Oh, God. Well, I first want to acknowledge Vicky Ponce. She was the first, as when it comes to hair, as far as being a business owner, when I worked in her salon, she showed me the structure, the organization. She loved, her stylist. She loved people. And she really showed me the structure part of how to run it, making sure everything was uniformed, lined up, and I saw her be successful right before me. So she was from that business perspective of wanting to be a business owner, salon owner. When it comes to my spiritual life, of course, is I have encountered a lot of pastors, preachers, and yes, some were good, holiness, salvation, but it's nothing like Apostle Jennings. I met him when I was just a stylist, and one of his members at the time were one of my stylists, and of course, we had some issues with that particular stylist, and I received a phone call from him, Apostle Travis, and I had never had somebody's pastor call me to save somebody's job. So I was like, who is this? My husband was like, well, who called you? I said, her pastor called me. From that point, for real, let me tell you something. And he was straight up on the phone. He is like, he even called me a minister. He said, are you a minister? And I'm like, no. I'm nobody's minister. But just his consistency of who he is. And even his wife, she was coming in the salon, and the kids, they have always been the same. And so, seriously, even though coming into the harvest, I was a business owner, but he has stretched me beyond just this area right here. Now I see myself in other areas, and he made me recognize it's always been in you, these hidden treasures. So I thank God for him, and I thank God for Pastor Stephanie as well, because both of them truly have been very consistent at being a man and woman of God. And that was before I became a partner of the Harvest Tabernacle Church. I saw them way before that.
Wow.
And every time he would see me outside, of course. And then my husband, last but not least, I can't forget my baby. Let me tell you something. Hello, lights. My husband has been the greatest. Like, he has been my best support system through losing my mother, through some losses that we've had together. I can't forget about mine, honey. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That man, he has stuck with me through all of my mess, even my insecurities with men. He's stuck in there. He said, but I ain't like your daddy. I'm not like any other man. I love you. And he has shown me that he has been there for me. I love my husband, Thomas Smith, baby. Yes, God. Yes. No, God, he will make it up. He will restore you. And he gave me a husband that loved everything about me, even my messed up. I was messed up. But yet, we've been riding together for almost 19 years. And, he put me before him. He helped me with my business, even when he had a business. He put my business before him. Wow. And I see how he deal with the kids. And I have my lovely, my 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 princess. But my husband, honey, I ain't gonna give nobody more than I. Hey, Jesus, the guy, of course. But my husband, that man, I love you. I love him. He has truly been a husband, a father, a friend, and he takes the good with the bad. He is the MVP
yes.
of my life.
Wow. OMG. That is so amazing. God is a restorer. Well, listen, you guys, I want to thank my very special guest, Shannon Smith, for being with us today. Will you come back?
Yes, I will.
Yes, this has been absolutely amazing. I want you guys to make sure that you tune in next week because we have something wonderful prepared for you. So again, you guys, remember, that's next week, same time, same place, right here on The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
Feel like it's a touchdown. Finally found me someone I can really trust now. I always have so much to say, but no one is saying too.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd every Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
So let's have this conversation like a radio station.
WIGO AM 1570, Morrow, Atlanta.
Well, you guys, again, I want to thank my very special guest, Shannon Smith. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. You guys, make sure that you tune in next week right here on The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
Yes. Thank you.